My name is Brenda Nettles. I'm with Mobile Community Action, a case manager. And I'll be presenting Module 1. Just one more reminder this morning on your manuals, your participant manuals, please do not write in. That's why we're giving you the scrap pages. And then we'll also be giving you the activities to make whatever markings you need to make. Thank you. Module 1 is the history, purpose, and perspective. Our learning objectives for today will be participants will be able to identify historical milestones of community action, understand how these relate to ROMA implementation, and we're going to learn that community action agencies with the focus on family, agency, and community outcomes have been designed to be more than simple direct service providers, more than simple direct service providers. And then we're going to understand how these lessons in history can help us identify future actions. We have one more that's added, and I'm on page 1 in your participants manual. And another objective that has been added is that we're going to acknowledge the 2017 National Theory of Change and the Performance Management Framework. And here in the corner here, we have our theory of change. So we'll be referring to it throughout the day. It's right here, the theory of change. So we'll be referring to that throughout the day. Page 2, please. We're going to start with the beginning, and 1964 and 1970. You know, when we started, when everyone was signing in, we had you to do on the warm-up exercise, which is remembering the decades. So we've got a lot of things that happened in our decades from 1960 until the present, you know, in our lives, as we relate also with ROMA, you know, with the Community Action Agency. There's a lot of different things that happen. And so when we were doing the activity, we were just getting in mind of things that happened. You know, we had to think about, we were talking to each other about different things that happened, you know, especially with the world. Different ones were saying, this happened in this year. And, you know, we would, I don't know. And so, but, you know, the world was more complicated than different things like our life, and then even in the Community Action Agency. So in 1964 was the beginning of community action, and it was the enactment of the Economic Opportunity Act, which is going to be referred to the EOA. It created the Community Action Network. In addition to the EOA, the Civil Rights Act was enacted in the same year, and other legislative created was Head Start. These new programs were part of Lyndon Johnson's Great Society War on Poverty. In 1970, the mission and model. Ms. Sims, would you read that first highlighted paragraph there for me, please?
Okay. The issuance of OEO Instruction 6320-1 established the mission and the model, parentheses, family, agency, and community of community action.
Okay, so that OEO set the foundation for the family, the community, and the agency's mission. And community action was designed to connect with ROMA principles, to connect ROMA principles with the original guidance found in this issuance, which was to provide the opportunity for individuals and families to become more self-sufficient and less dependent on subsidized programs. Mobilize community resources to improve the lives of people in the communities and enable communities to be more responsive to the needs of the low income. And then hold itself accountable by establishing realistic, attainable objectives expressed in concrete terms which permit the measures of results. So in 1970, the main focus was family, community, and agency. Let's go to page 3, please. in 1974 and 81, 74 was what's in a name. And, you know, as we did over our lives, and we think about, you know, the names that we gave our children, you know, we thought about those names to make sure that they were appropriate. You know, nowadays, you know, you get all kinds of names, and you know, families don't really think about a name. But, you know, same in 1974, they thought about, you know, a name. And what happened in 74 was the EOA was terminated in 73 and replaced with the Community Service Act of 1974. So there was a name change. And what was going on, they was trying to get a name that would be more appropriate to what we were trying to do as service to the family, community, and agency. 1981, the block grant change, 1981, the block grant, a change of relationship. So there was a change of relationship, and then these two key times in 74 and 81 in our history were changes in language and administration at the federal level, which made an impact on the way CAAs operated at local levels. In 1974, during President Gerald Ford's administration, the EOA was terminated, and then, however, we talked about it was replaced. And it said the movement inside the federal government and the name change did not change the mission. Although there was a change, it did not change the mission and the purpose of funding. Let's go to page 4, please. 1993 is measurement and accountability. Ms. Valerie, would you read that in the highlighted area there? You start with the purposes.
The purposes of this act are to improve federal program effectively and public accountability by promoting a new focus on results, services quality, and customer satisfaction, and to help federal manage improved service delivered by requiring that they plan for meeting program objectives and by providing them with the information about program results and service quality.
Thank you. And here in 1993 was when Congress passed the Government Performance and Results Act. And it's also known as the GPRA. You all may have heard those acronyms before. And what it was a federally mandated program that funded a funded program to be able to establish the performance goals and measures. While GPRA was a motivation for a review of our original purpose and directions, the seeds of ROMA have always been with us. Page 5, 1994. 1994, the Monitoring and Assessment Task Force, which is also referred to as MATF, was created by the Office of Community Service, OCS. The MATF produced the 6 national goals. So that's where our 6 national goals were birthed out of in 1994, out of the Monitoring and Assessment Task Force. Ms. Thornton, if you'll read that shaded area at the top of page 5, starts with the 1994.
Oh, okay. The 1994 amendment to the CSBG Act in response to GPRA specifically mentioned a requirement for CSBG eligibility in titles to provide outcome measures to monitor success in these 3 areas: promoting self-sufficiency, family stability, and community revitalization.
Thank you. And here on our board, we talk about the goals, the 6 national goals. And one is low-income people become more self-sufficient, which is a family goal. The conditions which low-income people live are improved, community. 3, low-income people own a stake in their own community. 4, partnership among supporters and providers of service to low-income people are achieved. That's an agency. Agencies increase their capacity to achieve results. That's goal 5. And 6, low-income people, especially vulnerable population, achieve their potential by strengthening families and support, and other supportive systems. That is also a family goal. The 6 national goals provided the framework that identified all CAA activities. And the 6 national goals had their root in 1970 in the OEO Instruction 6320-1, and that the focus was on improving family stability, self-sufficiency, collaboration, and partnership, and developing the capacity of local CAAs to achieve the results. The 6 national goals guided the CAAs from 1994 to 2016, and then they have been revised in 2017, which is from the theory here, the national change theory. So our 3 goals now are individuals and family, low incomes are stable, and achieve economic security. Goal 1, goal 2, communities where people with low income live are healthy and offer economic opportunity. And goal 3 is people with low income are engaged and active in building opportunities in communities. But if we see those 3, they still go with the 6. They just combined them all and just made it 3, where it's gonna be simpler than all of the 6. So everything goes in together with the 3 that's came from the 6. Okay, let's turn to page 6 in our participant manuals, please. Ms. Stephanie, would you read that highlighted area for me, please?
Okay. MATF recommended a system to be known as results-oriented
Yes.
management and accountability, or ROMA. ROMA was defined as a performance-based initiative designed to preserve the anti-poverty focus of community action and to promote greater effectiveness among state and local agencies receiving community service block grant (CSBG) funds.
Thank you. And our key points in 1994 was that in addition to developing the 6 national goals, the MATF also identified a performance-based system of management and accountability that they call ROMA. Results-oriented and accountability, or ROMA, was developed to support the management of CAAs and, in part, as a response to the GPRA requirement. At this time, the CAA networks use ROMA practices in daily operation on a voluntary basis. So in 1994, ROMA was on a voluntary basis. So, as we moving forward in what we see today, we'll see that it's been mandated. 1996, let's go to page 7, please. According to OCS guidance from 1996, ROMA is a framework for marrying traditional management functions with new focuses on accountability. It is common language for CAAs to use the response to the Government Performance and Results Act of 1993, which requires that federal funded programs demonstrate measurable outcomes. Ms. Floyd, would you read that in the shaded block there for me on page 7, ROMA?
ROMA incorporates the use of outcomes results into the administration, management, operation, and evaluation of human service. Local CAAs were asked to focus on the achievement of outcomes in addition to the traditional counting of clients and unit of service.
Thank you. And as we go throughout the day, we're gonna be building a logic model. This is our logic model here on the wall. We're gonna be building that logic model based on the items that ROMA requires that we have to do. And you'll see a sample copy of it on page 7 at the bottom. Up here we have the blank one, but then here is what we're gonna be looking at as we go through. 1998 and 2001. 1998, page 8, reauthorization of the CSBG Act. The 1998 reauthorization outcome required outcome reporting from all CAAs and CSBG eligible entities beginning October 1, 2001. 2001 was the direction from OCS for the first mandatory report. The Office of Community Service issued IM, Information Memorandum 49, Program Challenges, Responsibility, and Strategies. In this IM, state offices and CSBG eligible entities were provided with guidance regarding implementation of ROMA, the core activities to assist them in preparing for mandatory and performance reporting. The key points there are valuable languages in IM 49 that is useful for ROMA implementation, and IM 49 issued in February 2001, just before the first mandatory ROMA reporting. And then IM 49 reminds us of the original purpose of our network. IM 41 is introduced. Okay, let's go to page 9, please. We're going to 2001. Yeah, 2001. Okay. Page 10. Implementation, 2005, implementation of national indicators of community action performance. 2005, implementation of national indicators of community action performance. ROMA reporting is using the national indicators of the community action performance, the NPIs, and it became mandatory activity for delivery of service after July 2005. In 2005, our key message is that a standard of set indicators were introduced to the CAA network. Let's go to page 11, please, 2006. In 2006, we talk about the ROMA cycle. And the ROMA cycle is here. We talk about assessment, planning, implementation, results, and evaluation. And basically, this cycle goes with everything that we do in our lives. We assess things that we need to do. And then once we assess it, then we plan on how we're going to do it. Then once we plan how we're going to do it, then we put it to action. We implement it. And then after we implement it, we look at our results to see if we need to go back and do something different, that we missed something, just in daily life. Things that we do, cleaning the house, cleaning the vehicle, doing, mechanical work or whatever it is. After we look at it, we see, did it achieve the results that we were we were looking for. And then after we do that, we evaluate it to see if it's complete in its entirety of what we were actually looking to attain. And then if it's not, we go all back over again. So that's the same thing on the cycle. It's a continuous cycle, and so it goes, over and over until we complete. And some things we won't complete. It's just a continuous cycle, which is with ROMA, it's a continuous cycle. Because things change, situations change, and so it is a continuous cycle. So page 12, please, 2009, 2011. 2009 is the Obama administration renewed focus on results and accountability. The Obama administration came into office with a renewed interest in the results that were achieved through the use of federal funds. One reporting document, the PPR, included a version of the ROMA logic model. In 2011, a new strategy of excellence, which was IM 123. The information memorandum provides guidance on a new national focus on key issues that have been identified as priorities for community action agencies. And then using the IM 123, several performance management initiatives were funded by OCS. The Community Action Partnership, NASCAP, and OCS worked with many different task groups, conducted listening sessions, and saw input from the network in numerous ways. In 2012, I don't think 2012 through 15 will be in your manuals because they have not updated the participant manuals yet. So, 2012 was a focus on the performance management. 2005 was several efforts finalized. And in 2012, the Administration for Children and Families, the Office of OCS, began a process to improve the support of high-quality service delivered across the CSBG network. 2015, several efforts finalized were the organization standards. During the 2013, the Community Action Partnership led the national efforts to identify key elements of agency performance or agency capacity and to state these elements in a way that could be measured. And so under 15, there were state and federal accountability measures, automated state plans, and American Customer Satisfaction Index, which is the ASCI. All of those were established in 2015. And in 2017, we have the annual report approved by the Office of Management and Budget, which is the OMB. And the annual report was changed from the IS report to the annual report in 2017. So a lot of people are familiar with the IS report, but they changed the terminology to the annual report. All the documentations and everything, the requirements are still the same, and it goes back to that first start, what's in a name. And then the new CSBG annual report approved in January 2017. In connection with the automated state plans, identified states' accountability measures, and the American Customer Service Index. Then also come with that in 2017 was our theory of change, which I told you we'll be looking at throughout the day. Our key point summaries for today from on our history. ROMA, as a set of principles and practices, has grown out a rich history. Standardized reporting of outcomes is mandated for all community action agencies since 2001. The annual reporting tool and has been based on is a set of national performance indicators, which is the NIPs. The framework for achieving outcomes includes a full range of management and accountability activities as depicted by the ROMA cycle. There is a renewed focus on performance measure and management, which both CAA network and throughout the country in every field. The national theory of change includes the core principles of the network and focus on achievement of results. Turn to Module 2 of your participant manual, and then we're going to talk about 2 building blocks in management and accountability system for the network. We're going to have Ms. Tina Woodyard will be following me with Module 2. Thank you.